Yo, what if I told you that everything you thought you knew about Kendrick Lamar's quiet demeanor is a straight-up illusion? What if I told you that behind closed doors, Kung Fu Kenny has been plotting the ultimate takedown, not just of Drake, but of Young Thug too, and he's about to air it all out in a way that'll change hip-hop forever? Sources close to this situation are whispering that Kendrick's next move is so calculated, so cold, and so personal it might just end careers. Word on the street is he's been sitting on a vault of diss tracks recorded years ago, and after Drake's recent jabs and Thug's shady backstage comments resurfaced, Kendrick's about to press the red button. This ain't just rap beef anymore. It's a full-blown revenge saga with secret betrayals, loyalty flips, and even industry gatekeepers shaking in their designer boots. And get this, insiders claim that a leaked voice memo from one of Kendrick's camp members could expose a wild secret about Drake's past and Young Thug's silent role in sabotaging a major collab album. Yeah, it's that deep. So buckle up, because the drama we're about to unpack, it's bigger than rap. It all started with a whisper. Not a diss track, not a post, not even a tweet. Just a whisper in the back alleys of Los Angeles, in rooms where only the real insiders sit. Someone said Kendrick was angry. Not annoyed, not frustrated, angry. And not just at Drake, but at Young Thug too. Something had snapped inside the usually silent poet, and word was, he had receipts. The first signs came when Kendrick's longtime producer, who usually stays off the radar, posted a cryptic story, a black screen, a burning rose, and the caption, "It's almost time." Fans didn't think much of it until a few days later, a grainy video surfaced. Shot from the back of a studio session, you could barely see faces. But the voice, unmistakably Kendrick, and the words, "Chilling. They think they puppeteers pulling strings over here. But I know who funded the circus." The internet exploded. Fans immediately connected the dots. Was he talking about Drake and his rumored label manipulations? Or Young Thug, who was recently exposed in a separate drama involving leaked contracts and backroom deals? Whatever it was, Kendrick had clearly had enough, and he was ready to break the silence. But why now? That's the question that had everyone guessing. Kendrick had been quiet for years, dropping his album Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, staying out of the drama, keeping his name clean while others traded shots. But according to sources, it wasn't about staying clean, it was about gathering intel, plotting, watching everything unfold from a distance, like a chess master waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Then came the night that changed everything. Kendrick was spotted at a private party in Calabasas, Drake's territory. People were confused. He doesn't show up at these industry events. He doesn't party. But insiders said he didn't come to celebrate, he came to confront. The party was hosted by a mutual friend of both Drake and Kendrick. And by the end of the night, something went down that had the whole city buzzing. A heated argument broke out in a private room. No cameras, no footage. But too many people were there, and the story spread like wildfire. Kendrick allegedly cornered Drake with two simple questions. "You think you can buy loyalty? And you think I ain't seen it all?" Sources say Drake tried to play it cool, laughed it off, called Kendrick paranoid. But Kendrick didn't laugh. He just nodded and said, "You'll hear my side soon enough." And with that, he left the party, without saying another word. But the real shocker came the next morning. Data leaked. Text threads surfaced between a member of Kendrick's camp and a former OVO producer. In it, there were mentions of a canceled project, cryptic lines about Thug's interference, and a reference to a hidden audio file titled Lost Tapes Day Zero. Fans went into full detective mode, and what they uncovered left them stunned back in 2018. Apparently, Kendrick and Drake were working on a secret collaborative EP, something that was meant to unite their fan bases and shift the culture. It never dropped. Now, the leak claimed Young Thug played a major role in sabotaging the project, using his close ties with both camps to fuel mistrust and miscommunication behind the scenes. Allegedly, Young Thug warned Drake that Kendrick was planning to expose him in one of the songs. Drake, already skeptical, pulled out of the collab last minute. Kendrick, who had put his heart into the project, felt betrayed. But instead of firing back, he went silent. He kept the records. He watched as Drake and Thug continued climbing the charts. Any plan. According to a source who spoke on condition of anonymity, Kendrick knew he couldn't just drop a diss track. This wasn't about clout. This was about war. He wanted to end them, both. And that's when the studio sessions began. Locked doors, burner phones, NDA agreements, and even fake track names on hard drives. Kendrick was building something massive, and he wasn't doing it alone. Rumored collaborators include Tyler, the Creator, Black Thought, and even Andre 3000. One producer was quoted saying, "He's building a Sonic documentary." Not just to diss their exposes. It's personal. But while Kendrick was in the lab, the world kept spinning. And then came Drake's subtle jab on a no-deleted IG story. It was a photo of a chessboard with only one caption, "Your move." Fans took it lightly. But Kendrick's team didn't. Within 48 hours, someone from TDE posted a boomerang of Kendrick writing in a notebook, with one word on the screen, "Checkmate." It wasn't just the music anymore. It was psychological warfare, and then, out of nowhere, an old clip of Young Thug from 2020 resurfaced. In it, he casually mocked Kendrick's voice and delivery during a behind-the-scenes moment. He didn't know the camera was rolling. And when the clip went viral again, Kendrick's fans were enraged. But according to an insider, Kendrick had already seen it years ago. It was the final straw. He felt disrespected, not just as an artist, but as a man. And the people around him say that disrespect lit a fire that's been burning hotter every day since. Kendrick's cousin, who rarely speaks on Music Matters, tweeted a since-deleted message. "They laughed too loud. Now they've gone cry louder." And that's when fans realized this wasn't random. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a carefully orchestrated storm, and it had only just begun. More secrets were about to spill. More voices were going to be heard. And the next move Kendrick made would shake the entire culture to its core. But just when you thought it couldn't get messier, a new player entered the drama, someone who hadn't spoken publicly in years, but had deep connections to all three artists. The new player was a name hip-hop hadn't heard in a minute. Dawg. Yeah, the founder of Teed himself. This wasn't a random cameo. This wasn't a social media slip. This was a warning shot, and it was loud. Dawg went live on his private burner Instagram, an account fans didn't even know he still used. Only about 600 people saw it live before it got pulled down, but the screen recordings? They went viral within hours. In the video, he said, without naming names. "Some of y'all been playing with the wrong one. It's always been peace with us. But peace don't mean we soft. It just means we was waiting for the right moment to remind you who the hell we are." Boom! The internet lost its mind. Was he confirming that Kendrick was finally about to respond? Was this a green light from TDE itself? And if so, did this mean the gloves were officially off? But the most jaw-dropping part came at the end of the clip. Dawg looked directly at the camera and said, "You know what hurts worse than a diss track? Receipts." With that, the floodgates opened by the end of that same week. Another leak surfaced this time, an alleged voice note from someone inside Young Thug's old label circle. In it, a distorted voice described how Young Thug used his position in Atlanta's music scene to block features Kendrick had lined up with certain Southern artists back in 2019. If true, this meant Young Thug had been undermining Kendrick behind the scenes for years. Even as he publicly praised him, fans were furious. Hip-hop was divided, but Kendrick, still no response. No post, no freestyle. No interview until a photo dropped that shook the entire internet. Kendrick, sitting in a room with a huge whiteboard behind him, filled with names, dates, cities, and arrows. At the top, underlined 3 times, was one word: closure. The caption, just 2 words: October. Ready? That's when fans realized Kendrick wasn't just preparing a project. He was preparing a funeral. And then, like a plot twist from a movie, someone else jumped into the fire. Someone no one expected. J. Cole. Cole, who's known for staying out of beefs and riding neutral, was suddenly spotted with Kendrick at a secluded retreat in Big Sur. Paparazzi caught blurry shots of them talking, laughing, scribbling in notebooks. For years, fans had begged for a collab album. But now, rumors were flying. Was Cole choosing a side? Not long after, Cole dropped a freestyle on a random YouTube channel, no promotion, no announcement. In it, he spit. They throw dirt on the god's name, then wonder why the ground quake. I seen snakes trade peace signs, then hiss behind closed gates. The verse had fans shook. Was Cole talking about Drake? About Young Thug? The timing was suspicious, and the internet immediately declared Cole has picked a side. Drake, now feeling the heat, finally made his first move. He posted a carousel of photos on Instagram. Regular stuffed cars jewelry, a studio shot, but the last pic had fans spiraling. It was a piece of paper with the words, "Silence isn't wisdom when lies are loud." He didn't tag anyone, didn't add a caption, but the message was clear. He felt attacked. He felt betrayed. And most of all, he felt ready. But while Drake was firing subliminals, Kendrick was preparing something much heavier. Behind the scenes, engineers from multiple cities confirmed they'd been sent encrypted files from Kendrick's team. One engineer, who refused to name himself, said, "This ain't an album. It's an investigation." He's not just dissing people, he's exposing timelines. Deals, fake friendships, stolen flows, all of it. And just when fans thought that was enough, the biggest bombshell yet hit social media. A full email chain leaked between a former OVO producer and a current Atlanta-based exec. In the emails, dated back to 2019, there was clear mention of a planned smear campaign against Kendrick. The emails included talking points to spread rumors about Kendrick's creative decline, strategies to overshadow his album rollout, and even suggested pushing narratives that he was difficult to work with. And guess who was CC'd on the email thread? A manager closely affiliated with Young Thug. The betrayal ran deep. And this wasn't just business. This was personal warfare. Fans were livid. Twitter, now called X, trended #ProtectKendrick for 3 straight days. People started revisiting old interviews, lyrics, award show moments, anything they could find to piece the story together. And the picture that formed? Brutal. Kendrick had been betrayed by people he once considered allies. Drake, who had once praised him as a peer. Young Thug, who acted like a fan but was allegedly moving like an enemy behind the scenes. And the worst part? No one believed him until now. But Kendrick didn't rush to drop music. He let the tension build. He let the fans speak. He let the culture watch. Then, with no warning, Spotify and Apple Music both updated a mysterious pre-save link titled The Heart Part 6. No cover art, no description. Just a countdown clock. And fans knew what that meant. The last time Kendrick dropped a hard installment, it shattered the internet. And now, with the way things were building, this wasn't going to be a song. This was going to be the start of the storm. But what no one knew was that the track was just the beginning. Behind the scenes, Kendrick was putting the finishing touches on something much bigger, something that would bring the whole story full circle. And just as the countdown hit 24 hours, a new video began circulating, this time from a former OVO security member who claimed he had access to studio footage of a tense conversation between Drake and a mystery artist. The guard said he'd been paid off to destroy the footage years ago, but kept a copy, and now he wanted to talk. That footage, if real, could destroy careers. But before the internet could even process it, the countdown hit 0. And The Heart Part 6 dropped a 7-minute jaw-dropping, soul-crushing assault on everything fake, fabricated, and fraudulent in the game. Kendrick didn't name names directly, but every bar was a puzzle piece. Every metaphor was a scalpel. And by the end, there was no confusion. He was coming for blood. And that's where things got really messy. Because after that track dropped, someone from Young Thug's team responded on what they revealed. Changed everything. The response came fast, almost too fast. Less than 12 hours after Kendrick dropped The Heart Part 6, an anonymous account linked to Young Thug's inner circle posted a voice note to SoundCloud under the name A Tell Antidote. Within minutes, it was circulating everywhere: Reddit threads, X, formerly Twitter, hip-hop blogs, and even private Discord servers that usually stay off the radar. The voice. It was heavily filtered, robotic, distorted, but what was said? Crystal clear. He wanted to talk about betrayal like he ain't the one who ghosted the South when we needed him. Like he ain't the one who tried to block my rise with backdoor convos and silent threats. That boy ain't holy. He is shadow priest. Fans were stunned. Was Thug accusing Kendrick of being the snake all along? Of trying to gatekeep the industry while pretending to be the humble observer? But that wasn't even the craziest part. The message continued, and Drake. We knew he was soft, but we ain't know he was that desperate. Out here running to Cole, thinking he's safe. It's all snakes in that grass. Only difference is, we bite back. Boom. In one fiery monologue, the entire hip-hop landscape flipped. Young Thug's camp wasn't just defending themselves. They were flipping the script, painting Kendrick and Drake both as villains. And now, fans were questioning everything. Within hours, a clip surfaced from 2016 of Kendrick in an off-air radio interview, one that was never meant to be released, where he made a vague but telling comment. A lot of these artists be your fans in private, then your enemies in business. I learned that the hard way, especially down south. Now, the conspiracy theories hit overdrive. Was Kendrick always suspicious of Young Thug? Was this beef simmering way longer than anyone thought? And what did Thug mean by ghosted the South? Fans dug deep and found that Kendrick had been scheduled to headline a Southern Unity concert in Atlanta back in 2019, a show that would have helped young up-and-coming ATL rappers gain exposure. He pulled out last minute. No explanation was ever given, but now? A rumor was resurfacing that Kendrick pulled out after learning that Young Thug's camp was behind shady promotion deals that left local artists unpaid. Fans were torn. Was Kendrick the victim of sabotage, or was he part of the power play? But while social media battled it out, Kendrick didn't flinch. Instead, he posted a short video clip on his burner account, a grainy, black and white shot of him standing in front of a burning notepad. No audio, no caption. Just him staring into the flames, unmoved. 10 minutes later, the clip was reposted by J. Cole with one word: loyalty. And that's when things exploded. J. Cole, who had stayed quiet through most of this war, was now firmly in Kendrick's corner. And the industry started choosing sides quick. Producers, videographers, even brand sponsors started making quiet moves behind the scenes. Then, an unreleased Kendrick track from 2021 leaked, this time not from his team, but allegedly from an OVO defector who had grown tired of the politics. The track was raw, unfinished, but the lyrics? Straight venom. In it, Kendrick rapped, "They sent a serpent to my table, thought I'd eat with it. I flipped the plate, now they panickin', tweetin', cryptic. I don't need a hook when the truth still stings. Y'all crowns look heavy. I don't envy fake kings." The internet lost its collective mind. Fans declared it the coldest pre-release verse since Nas dropped Ether. And then things got even more intense. A thread on Reddit's hip-hop conspiracy forum claimed to have screenshots of a group chat involving key figures from both Thug and Drake's teams. In it, they discussed timing releases to overlap Kendrick's dates, coordinating exclusive leaks to distract the media, and even crafting narratives to push certain agendas during award seasons. If true, this wasn't rap beef. This was a calculated takedown. Kendrick, once again, said nothing. But his silence felt different now. It felt dangerous. Then came the biggest twist of all. Someone from Kendrick's own family spoke out. His cousin. Not Baby Keem, but a lesser-known relative who once worked closely with T during the Section .80 era. Went on a podcast and dropped a bombshell. "I ain't gon' lie. K been ready for this since 2020. He felt hurt by both them dudes. Hurt, hurt. Not music hurt, not ego hurt, real pain. Personal asterisk T. Like betrayal you can't come back from. He went on to say Kendrick wrote a whole short film during lockdown about betrayal. Masks in the music industry and loyalty in the face of fame. But scrapped it because it hit too close to home. But now, those same themes were being reborn in his upcoming body of work. Except this time, it wasn't fiction. And then, as if fate was feeding the fire. Young Thug's team made a massive misstep. A promotional campaign for Thug's new single dropped. And one of the ads used a photoshopped image of Kendrick with puppet strings over his shoulders, clearly mocking him. The backlash was instant. Fans accused Thug of going too far, turning rap beef into personal defamation. Even some of Thug's loyal supporters started switching sides. Meanwhile, Drake was noticeably quiet. Not a post, not a bar, not even a like on X. Insiders say he was reevaluating his approach, especially after J. Cole's silent alignment with Kendrick caused waves in. Major streaming meetings. Rumors even surfaced that Drake had been advised to fall back until more info about the leaked email chain could be verified. If the contents were real, legal trouble could be around the corner, and then came the final domino. Kendrick posted an image of a folder on his desk labeled Project Ashes underneath it, in his handwriting. Volume 1, Decimation. No one knew what that meant, but everyone knew it was coming soon. The world was watching. Sides were chosen. Wounds were open. And just when fans thought Kendrick couldn't possibly hit harder, one of Young Thug's former engineers went live on Instagram and revealed something so shocking, so deep in the vaults of rap history. It left jaws on the floor. The live started with shaky camera footage, a low-lit room, and a voice already cracking under the weight of what was about to be said. The former engineer, who we'll call D, was visibly anxious, chain smoking and glancing off screen like he expected someone to burst through the door. "I'm not doing this for clout," he said. "I'm doing this because I can't sleep no more." He took a long drag off the cigarette, then dropped the bombshell. Back in 2017, there was a session, Young Thug, Drake, and a few Atlanta producers. They was working on this project that never dropped. But in the middle of that session, Drake played something crazy. It was a leaked Kendrick verse. Pause. Not just any verse. It was from the collab project him and Drake was working on. Remember that? Yeah, the one that never happened. Turns out Drake had it the whole time, and he let Thug hear it. But instead of using it for the collab, they sat around clowning it. Said Kendrick sounded paranoid, too lyrical. Off-brand, then they joked about replacing him on the track with someone more commercial. They was laughing hard. The internet couldn't believe it. But then came the kicker. I kept a backup. Not of the audio, but the footage. Studio security cam. Timestamped, backed up to a hidden drive, and just like that, the war took a whole new turn. Overnight, a new file began circulating on private message boards and encrypted servers. The footage wasn't great, grainy, hard to hear, but it was undeniable. Voices matched. The laughing was real. The disrespect was blatant. Kendrick had trusted them with that verse. It was supposed to be part of a culture-shifting project. Instead, it became a joke in a room full of snakes. And that's when Kendrick broke his silence for real. He did a message not on Instagram, not on X, but on an old unused Tumblr account that fans hadn't seen active in years. Just a black screen with white text. I gave y'all peace. Y'all gave me betrayal. Now, you'll get the mirror. Attached was a pre-save link to an album titled Ashes, Volume 1, release date. 2 weeks, the music industry froze, according to insiders. The album rollout was unlike anything ever done. No press runs. No promo deals. Every song was to be dropped with a visual. Each visual would tell part of the larger story. And together, the album would function as a chronological breakdown of Kendrick's betrayal, rage, and resurrection. But that wasn't all. Rumors swirled that Kendrick had reached out to other artists who had once been mistreated or backstabbed by the same camp's names, like Pusha T. Vince Staples, even Lupe Fiasco, were suddenly trending. Allegedly, some of them would appear as narrators, not even rapping, but speaking their truths through voiceover on Kendrick's visuals. One close source put it simply: "This ain't just an album. This is hip-hop's version of the final judgment." Meanwhile, Drake's team went into full lockdown. Number posts. No leaks. OVO Radio went silent. Young Thug's camp issued a vague denial, claiming the studio footage was heavily edited and taken out of context. But by then, it was too late. Fans had already chosen their prophet. And then came the leaks. But not from Kendrick this time, from his enemies. In a desperate attempt to regain control of the narrative, someone from an anonymous OVO fan account released what they called Kendrick's hypocrisy folder, a dump of emails, messages, and notes meant to portray Kendrick as manipulative, egotistical, and controlling. But the move backfired. Why? Because within hours, Kendrick's own cousin, the same one who went on that earlier podcast, responded with unseen footage from 2015, a private moment of Kendrick helping an unsigned artist rewrite a verse to avoid a label lawsuit, telling them, "Don't let these suits kill your soul." Fans rallied behind him harder than ever. The attempted smear campaign failed badly. Then came October 13th, the release date of Ashes. Volume 1. Streaming platforms crashed within minutes. Every track was layered, sharp, theatrical. Kendrick wasn't just rapping, he was dismantling. Every bar felt like evidence. Every skit felt like courtroom testimony. And the 7th track? Simply titled Funeral Service. It opened with a distorted sample of laughter, unmistakably Drake and Thug. Then silence. Then Kendrick's voice, cold and steady. "You thought your laughter was power. You thought the crown came with alliances, not accountability. I ain't here for the crown. I'm here for the wake-up." He didn't have to say names. The world already knew. The visuals that followed made things even more undeniable, each one depicting symbolic versions of the people involved. A serpent in OVO colors, a puppeteer with green dreads, a king with a melting crown. It was art, but it was also pure smoke. And just when people thought it couldn't get any more intense, the final track ended with an audio message, Kendrick himself whispering, "Volume 2. Already recorded." The world collectively gasped. This wasn't over. Not even close. Reactions poured in. Fans called it a classic. Artists began picking sides publicly, some showing love, others staying silent. Spotify put the album front and center. Tidal created a custom landing page, calling it the rebirth of truth, Young Thug. Now, in a legal situation that prevented him from releasing new diss content directly, posted a single image to his story, a burning tree. The caption, "This ain't over." Drake, however, remained completely silent. The first time in his career he didn't respond to a major diss within 24 hours. And fans noticed. Kendrick, meanwhile, was already prepping Volume 2. Insiders claimed it would go even deeper, naming names, exposing contracts, and featuring unexpected collaborators. One source even hinted that Rihanna had reached out, offering to narrate one of the interludes. The culture had shifted. The line was drawn. Kendrick had opened the floodgates of truth, and now no one could hide behind radio hits and industry alliances. And as the dust began to settle, one question echoed through every studio, every comment section, every late-night hip-hop conversation: if this is just the beginning, what's coming next? So here we are at the edge of the cliff. Kendrick Lamar has flipped the entire rap industry on its head. What started as whispers and subliminals has now exploded into a full-scale lyrical war. But this ain't just about bars. This is about betrayal, pride, legacy, and truth. From leaked emails to deleted verses, secret alliances to exposed footage, every move has peeled back a layer of an industry that once thrived on illusion. Kendrick didn't just respond, he unleashed an artistic takedown that's still unfolding, with Volume 2 already in the vault. We could be looking at the biggest cultural shift hip-hop has seen since the Pac and Biggie era. Except this time, it's all happening in real time, online, and with the entire world watching. Drake's silence is louder than any diss. Young Thug's responses feel more like damage control than dominance. And the fans, they've never been more divided, so we gotta ask you, what side are you on? Do you think Kendrick's finally done what no one else could, and exposed the entire rap power structure? Or is this just another chapter in the never-ending rap drama cycle? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't hold back. Who's right, who's wrong, and who's really running the game in 2025? Smash that like button if you've been glued to this saga like the rest of us. Subscribe for more updates, as this story definitely ain't over. And if Volume 2 drops, you already know we'll be here breaking it all down for you the moment it hits. This is the new era of hip-hop and the truth. It's finally louder than the fame. You've been watching the realest rap drama on the internet, and trust me, the next twist is coming sooner than you think. Stay locked in. Locked in.